Scott from Rocky Oaks Farms. Another issue, 625 MOCO mowing machine and conditioner. I believe we've got bearing problems, which is creating a leak. Of course, now I just drilled a hole. We took the input shaft, well, or the input, whatever you want to call it, the drive shaft off of it to where we could get to the input shaft. And we watched a video where this guy, to get this seal out, he drilled holes in here and put some screws in here and then wedged it out. We're going to try the same thing, because other than that I don't know how to get this seal out, but we're going to give it a shot. Anyways, here we go. Alright, we're going to see if this works. But you can see we run screws, drilled holes and run screws into this seal. We're going to take the handy dandy crowbar here, maybe. Don't know if we're going to get it on there. We're going to take a hammer and we're going to try to pry it out of there. And that one failed. And that one failed. I tore a hole in the seal, and now I'm taking a regular seal puller, and I'm going to see if I can get it out with it. There it is, one seal puller. Okay, big giant thick snap ring. We like to never got it out. I don't have a snap ring pliers, a set of snap ring pliers even near heavy enough for that thing. But we finally pried it out. But here's the bad thing. If you'll look right here where we pulled the seal out, we discovered this snap ring when we was tearing the seal out. So we think it goes around the normal shaft here, but it's busted all to pieces. So we're still figuring it out. I think we even see a piece of it right here. So we'll keep digging into it. Here we go. Alright, what I did, I went and got a lock ring that goes back in behind this bearing. I don't have a schematic of this motor or this gearbox, so I'm having to, since the snap ring broke, I'm kind of having to guess at where the spacers in behind the snap ring or before the snap ring. I want to think they're supposed to be behind the snap ring against the internal bearing. This bearing here I've stuck in here, and I've put the spacers back in here. I put a little grease on them to make them hold up against that, so I can put this big thick snap ring back in right here. Really, without a parts diagram or a schematic of this crank gearbox, it's all guesswork. So anyways, we're going to put the this snap ring here back in it and see what it feels like. We're hoping the bearing is okay. The bearing feels okay, spinning it, moving around, doesn't have a lot of play. The one thing I am concerned about is the race. It seems like the race has maybe a little bit of play in it, and I don't know how much it's supposed to have. So anyways, we're going to try it out here and see what happens. Here we go. All right, everybody, as you can see, this thing is kind of put back together in a sense. What we discovered happened, it's not a bearing failure. The bearings seem okay. What happened is this ring, snap ring right here, it broke. That's the one we showed you in the earlier part of the video here. That snap ring broke, and when it broke, it allowed the bearing to move, but most importantly, it allowed this shaft to work its way inward. And we got it pulled back out, got a new snap ring, put the big snap ring in to hold the bearing in. Oh, by the way, we went and purchased at Harbor Junk a tool, a snap ring tool to get to that big giant snap ring. Okay, other than that, I don't know if we'd ever got it anywhere. $30. But furthermore, I don't know why this snap ring catastrophically failed, allowing this to happen, but this shaft worked its way in about that much, about probably close to 2 inches. And it took me a while to figure out what was going on, and I'll be honest with you, I don't have a manual on this, or a repair manual, so I had to kind of figure it out myself. But to get this out, I didn't have the tooling to kind of pull this shaft out. So what I did, I took a long bolt, put a washer on it. Longer bolt would have been better, but this is the longest I had. Threaded it inside the shaft. Okay, and of course I had it tighter than that. I'm just kind of showing you. I took a pipe wrench and basically kept hitting it like a slide hammer, beating and beating and beating until I got this shaft to pull out. Now, hopefully I have not damaged anything by doing that. Yet to be seen. But it got this snap ring groove out far enough that I could get the snap ring back on. Now, as you can see, that thing's tighter than a tick. Okay, there's no movement at all in it. If I run the machine, everything turns the way it should. Okay, it's tight. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you all these shims were inside this. Actually, there's one more of these great big ones. I had to leave this big one out right here because I could not get this big snap ring to seat with this extra shim in it. These shims, I still don't even know what they're for. But these came out, these did not go back in. Now, I'm going to run the machine, put it back together, run the machine. I'll probably have to go buy another whole seal, which is okay. About $14, I think, for the seal. Bad parts having to go after it. I'll look at it again after it gets hot and worked and see if there's any play in it. If there is, I'll go back in and put the shims in. Again, lack of tooling and knowledge is brought us to this right here. But as you can see, it's good and tight. Now, we took this cover off to see if we could access that shaft from the rear. It is covered up by gears. I've cleaned all the old fluid out. I got new 80W90 fluid to put back in it. And if you'll look right here, you got a ring gear. It's kind of like a rear end. You got a ring gear, you got spider gears. It's got a main shaft that comes out here. It's got a gear on it. The gear we're talking about is way back here, okay? There was no way to access it. So basically that's why I done the slide hammer deal to get the shaft out. We're going to put it back together, put the seal in it, put some grease in it, see what happens. Here we go. Everybody, got the cover back on, got it filled with 80W90. We got the PTO shaft, clutch and everything back on it. As you can see, the two bolts you got to take off here. We got this plate put back on here just to hold the cover. So it's back together. We're going to see if it works. We're going to try to mow with it today, and keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully it won't fly apart. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.